Okay, today what we are going to cover is vendor master data, and we've already done the business partner configuration. That was through cross application components and integration of finance connecting with cross application. So we would then create a vendor master today. We've already seen the grouping and the account group configuration and how it actually connects together through the number ranges. So we will actually walk through that part again just to see how much of our configuration is in place. Okay, CRO, reference IMG. We will go through the cross application components, which is the central idea to centralize your business partners, SAP business partner, basic settings, number range and groupings, define groupings and assign number ranges. I believe we assigned the number ranges. Okay. Find it, SDQT. Okay, vendor grouping, M1. We will select this and save it. Okay, this is done. Now, next step is master data synchronizer, because we're going to create master data for finance, for MM, and we'll have to synchronize it with cross application components. Okay. Here we have this node, customer vendor integration, business partner settings, settings for vendor integration, set BP role category for direction BP to vendor, define BP role for direction vendor to BP, define number assigned for direction BP to vendor. Okay, over here, we'll give group SDQT and group SDQT. Now, this is coming from accounts, finance. This is coming from cross-application components, the central engine for creating master data. Same numbers because it was both these groups and grouping were assigned the same number range. And this is important because the grouping will create the vendor at the finance level using number ranges. So that will have to be same. Save. And now we can go ahead and create our vendors. Okay. This is done. Let's go for master data. BP is the T code. Okay. Organization. First, it will create a generalized master data, but we'll have to select the grouping S SDQT. This is vendor grouping coming from cross application component, the centralized engine. Okay. And it will be company. Okay, now this search term will be helpful for us to search the vendor through a list, a long list, because we can have many customers, many vendors. The hubby country AE. Then we'll add, then we'll add uh, language also. Where is language? There is a part for language. Yeah, language, English, and save. Once we save, it will generate the number range that we assigned. Now, this is generalized, not available for FI transactions, not available for MM transactions. So it's just generalized, it's just maintaining details, addresses. Okay. Now, if you want to create vendor for finance and MM, we'll go for switch between display and change. And we will create FI vendor, FI custom, FI vendor standard, and it will change from this part has changed to company code. Company code, SDQT, enter. Over here, it will require a reconciliation account. Now, what is a reconciliation account? Where all the transactions of all the vendors are consolidated. Okay. Line items are available at vendor level, but the summarized transactions are available in a reconciliation account. Since we don't have a reconciliation account yet, we will not create an FI vendor right now. We'll create in the next step after we create chart of accounts. But we want to create a vendor for MM. And for that, we'll go for MM vendor standard. You see it, this part relationships will change to purchasing. Once I select this vendor standard, relationship will change to purchasing. Now this is basically going to fall in your MM part. Okay. Payment terms. What are payment terms? Payment terms can be various, and that is the understanding your business develops. Like you will categorize your vendors for payable settlement, for payable settlement, like payable immediately. For some vendors, it will be on cash, payable immediately, or we'll have different slabs like within 14 days with 2% cash discount if you have some understanding with your vendor. Within 14 days, 3%, within 20 days, 2%, within 3 days due net. So we'll collect this one, 0, 3, and assign it. Okay. Other fields that are important, GR-based invoice verification. Now, what is this concept? GR means that, for example, you placed an order against, you placed an order for some stocks from a vendor, like 1,000 pieces. And if The delivery is not in one part, is not done in one shot, and it's divided in 15 parts or 20 parts. So 20 invoices will be sent by the vendor. For some businesses, it might be practical. For some businesses, it would only require one invoice per supplies, no matter how many supplies, because that adds to the paperwork. Okay. Revaluation. Other parts, purchasing group. I believe we created a purchasing group. Sadakat purchasing group. S00. Planned delivery time we will not fill it up here. Delivery times will be entered in purchasing order and other documents. Unit of measurement group. Unit of measurement group is also a part of MM, where you can calibrate or categorize different units of measure together and club them under a group. For example, liters can be clubbed with milliliters. Okay. Gallons, liters, milliliters. Now, this is relevant and prevalent in industries where the supplies can be continuous and there are set vendors for certain materials, certain stock, like chemical stock, or if the vendors are supplying something that is measurable in meters, yards, millimeters. For example, if their stock is varying in measurement, then we can have unit of measurement group and we can club them under that. Okay. So it's like, for example, silk production can produce several meters and several centimeters at one time. It's not necessary that it will produce fixed length. Okay. Even in beverages or natural juices industry, the juice production will vary. So it will be in liters, in milliliters, in gallons. You never know. So you will create a unit of measurement group for that. Okay. Now, oh, save. Let me just save that. I hope it's not schema group. Okay. It says, okay. Now, schema group, basically, this is for pricing conditions. Condition contract. Now we'll see pricing conditions ahead. Okay. For now, automatic PO will be created for vendor. You can do this for MRP when we are creating material requirements planning. You can do for that. Okay. And purchasing order entry by supplier. No, we don't want that. We'll save it so that it doesn't go for supplier specific data or not saved due to error mapping 043. Okay. CVI mapping 043. The vendor already exists. Okay, this is the numbering range issue. Okay, let's see. We already have a vendor. We've already made it. And group 01. Changes have been saved, but it's not saving for this one. It's maintained, but it's not maintaining it. Well, let's see what error this is. We can look into it. Post-processing office. Update of supply specific data. Others technically on commit. Data are updated directly after pressing. Due to technical or normal error is not possible anymore during commit work. Saved in post-processing office and the corresponding supply specific data is amount. There are pure supply specific fields in transaction BPN are empty after saving, although they had been filled with values before pressing the save button. Are empty after saving, although they had been filled with values before. Correct your entries according to error message above, also mentioned in brackets. Okay, you can get further details. MDS PPO2 stamp transaction, technical creation date, the concerned business partner should then be available in the results list. Okay. Okay. Um, let's run this transaction. It's already maintained, but it's not yet assigned to any of our organizational units. So it's a neutral variant name business process. Technical creation date 01/01/2025. Maybe it's because of fiscal year change also. Already exist. Portal already exists. Okay, let's check the configuration. SPRO. Financial accounting. Global settings. Fiscal year. Assign company code to a fiscal year variant. This is also an important setting. Okay. A4. Now your fiscal year will be from January to December. Okay. Save. Save. Okay. Next is posting periods because we have to assign posting periods so we can post our values in those posting periods. Define variants. Double 842 is our template posting period variant, and copy as, and we'll copy it as LDQT. Enter, save, assign variants to company code. Save. Open and close posting periods. Double A42. We'll just copy all this. Control Y. Control C. Go back. Open and close. SDQT. New entries. Control V. Okay. Now we'll just change. Just change it to 2025. What is 13 and 16? This is the special periods for adjustments, material adjustments, asset adjustments, finance and banking transaction adjustments. Okay. And for what accounts? For these ranges from the very empty to the very last empty. Okay. A is for assets from the very beginning of the series to the very last end of the series. So goes for D, that is customers, K for vendors, M for material entries and transactions, S for GL entries. Save and save. So now that we have done this, let's go to the next step before we can commit to the master data, and that is chart of accounts. Now, chart of accounts is the backbone of the entire enterprise. Okay. So we must know what is this backbone. Edit chart of accounts. We don't have SDQTs. Will create SDQT. Chart of accounts. Now, what is chart of accounts? Basically, it's collection of GL accounts of for various departments at one place. This is done. Now we'll assign the same to the company code. SDQT. Save. Save. Define account group. Now this is very necessary because this is where we create the framework. Framework is this. Okay. And we'll just copy it. Control Y. Control C, new entries, Control V, and we'll just replace it with SDQT because these are number ranges already. Framework is already in place. So we just have to replace the names and we save it. And these are the GL accounts framework. Whenever we create GL accounts, we'll create it from here. We can add one more SDQT. For material accounts, we already have it. So we'll have for HRM, HR accounts, and our number ranges will start from 60,000 to 60,000 to 6,999. Okay. So we have GL accounts for GL, expenses, income, liabilities, material accounts, secondary costs, HR. We can also have one more, equity. Okay. For equity, we can have with the number range 30,000 to 3,999. 30,000, 3,999. Okay. Although equity is part of liabilities, but still. Okay. And we can break rest of these account heads to molecular details, but we'll just keep it till here for now. Okay. Now chart of accounts are also made, but GL accounts are not made yet. Okay. ZAP 9, let me just see, it's 100. Okay. Defined retained earnings account. What are retained earnings account? I'll just explain that, but let me first X save. Now retained earnings account, basically, it collects all of the income and expenses of that year and carries it forward to the equity in the balance sheet. So it basically dissolves or absorbs the profit and loss for that year and moves ahead to start the new year. Okay. And it adjusts the difference whether it's a profit or loss into the balance sheet under equity, adds or deducts from the equity. Now let's give it another shot. BP, open BP 110, 410, sorry. Now vendor is maintained, but as QT, it has to be maintained. Purchase org is SDQT. Transfer payment terms 03. Purchasing group S00. Schema group 01. 01. Automatic PO. Okay. Save. Okay. It's giving the same error. So let's take it in the next class. Let's see what is actually happening.